Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Welcome to the Raw review. There's nothing to talk about before the show, so we're going to get right into this. They started the storyline that I told you guys that they would do with Triple H. They started that today. They started with Stephanie, and she talked about Triple H in this match Extreme Rules. She doesn't want Triple H to compete again. While she's getting booed, Vince McMahon comes out and said that he agrees with what Stephanie's saying. He doesn't want Triple H to do this match either. Now, Triple H isn't in the building at this time. They said that they don't want Triple H to compete at all, ever again, because of what happened after Extreme Rules. The crowd just keeps booing the both of them. And some would say this is a heel turn for the McMahons. I doubt it is. It's just how the story goes. You can't wrestle every day of your life, like the Undertaker. You can't wrestle every day of his life. You gotta hang your boots up sometime, and I guess this is Triple H's time. But while they're talking, the Shield comes out, and they said that Stephanie and Vince McMahon left the ring unharmed, so good. The Shield then went against Randy Orton and Team Hell No. Yes Chance was all over the ring. And when I say your all-star team, I mean the guys who are facing the Shield, the guys who can't seem to get the job done. They dominated this match until Kane came in and basically went to the top rope. He was going to do his little flying clothesline, and then the Shield took control. And the Shield was dominating until Randy Orton came in the ring. Then the crowd went nuts, and Randy Orton did his little comeback sequence. He did the DDT, or he was about to do that DDT, but then he grabbed Ambrose and Reigns and did both of them. He was about to do Rollins. Reigns gets up and kicks him in the back of the head. And then that started the whole barrage of finishers back and forth. And it wound up Kane about to chokeslam Rollins and Reigns. Reigns breaks out of it, spears Kane. Randy Orton RKO's Rollins. And then you had Ambrose do his finisher to Daniel Bryan. And that's how the match ended, was Ambrose got the win. Orton and Bryan were seen arguing, but Kane was kind of behind Daniel. You just didn't see him at this part until like maybe 2 seconds later. And they're talking about that whether or not Daniel Bryan's a weak link still. This is actually going pretty good, to be honest with you. And he still thinks that he's a weak link, and that Kane and Orton don't respect him. This is Daniel Bryan I'm talking about. So he says that he's going to have another match to prove that he's not the weak link. So then we go to the next thing we go to is we see Triple H. He enters the arena. He's got his little suit. He's got a suitcase in hand, which this thing is so small you could basically carry it like a briefcase. But he's looking for Stephanie and everything. And he's looking for Stephanie and Vince, saying that he wants to do this match. He's medically cleared to compete, and they're saying you're not doing this match under any circumstances. And Vince McMahon said that he's not competing ever whenever they were in the ring at the beginning. Let's see here. Oh. And at one point, at the end of the segment, Vince McMahon says, "Don't do something you'll regret," and hands him these papers. And I guess the papers were just there for show, but I don't know. And then he walks out. Then you had the Usos versus Primetime Players. This wasn't really that big of a match. Now, the first match, the 6-man tag match, the Stephanie McMahon segment, the arguing segment, the Triple H and the arena segment to find the McMahons, those were all really good. This match, this Uso tag team match, this match was actually okay. Del Rio versus Big E Langston was up next. This was a good match, actually. Del Rio did several cross arm breakers. He put in several cross arm breakers like he always does. Because he can't seem to ever get a pin, but apparently he got a pin tonight. And it came down to him basically doing another cross arm breaker and him getting a pin combination with it. So then you had Sheamus versus Cody Rhodes. Not needed. This Damien Sandow Sheamus rivalry they got going is stupid. This whole Damien Sandow talk show is stupid. And then you see Triple H, the next thing you see after this, after the match, is Triple H starting to kind of walk away, and Stephanie's with him. And they're talking about how Triple H thinks that he's being disrespected because they won't let him wrestle, and he wants to wrestle. But he says, how about this? How about you go tell your father, he says, Steph, I love you, but you need to go talk to your father. He says, you go tell him that at the beginning of next week's show, I'm going to be in the ring, and I'm going to fight, and I'm going to wrestle Curtis Axel. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So, he throws the suitcase in the back of the trunk, and as Stephanie's trying to reason with Triple H, he slams the door closed, and the limo drives off. And that was the end of Triple H. That was the end of the McMahons that we saw for the night. Well, no, it wasn't actually. But that was the end of Stephanie that we saw for the night. Bryan was in. He was in steaming. He was kicking stuff over, and Ryback comes in the frame and says, "You want to prove that you're a strong link? Well, how about you have a match with me, and you won't be the weak link anymore. You'll be the missing link." And their match is actually pretty good. They had several pretty good matches this Raw. The next thing you see is Curtis Axel, and he's with Paul Heyman, and they're just happening to be in Vince McMahon's office. And Vince McMahon says Triple H isn't wrestling your guy tonight or next week. So tonight Curtis Axel will face John Cena in a no disqualification match. Now, I had a problem with this no disqualification match, but I'll get into that for the main event, or whenever I talk about that match. Then you go to Fandango versus the Great Khali. Now, this match was apparently led up from the dance-off that they had that Khali so-called won. I think Jerry the King wanted to screw Fandango over in that, but this match turned out to be no contest. It was a draw. Fandango tries to basically kind of walk away. He starts walking up the ramp, and Miz appears. And Miz is basically distracting Fandango. And as Miz turns around, he actually turns around and starts running. And he gets nailed by a bullhammer by Wade Barrett. Now, I don't know why he started running. It's like he knew that Wade Barrett was behind him. I don't know. So then you had Vicky Guerrero make the match official for Miz versus Wade Barrett. And like I said, during the commercial, Vicky Guerrero makes a match, and she says that Miz got what he deserved for basically interfering in the match. And during the match, Fandango appears. He distracts Wade Barrett, and Miz gets the figure 4 leg locked in on Wade Barrett and gets the win. So he hasn't been really doing the skull crushing finale too much, except for last week whenever he was the guest referee. But who knows? But like I said, these three are going to have a match at Payback. It's going to be for the Intercontinental Championship, and I don't know who's winning it. But that pay-per-view is June 16th and maybe June 15th, I'll try to give you guys my predictions for that. Let's see here. During the app again, this is during the commercials. I have the app. During the app, Vicky makes a triple threat, or not a triple threat match, a six-man a six divas tag team match with Caitlyn and the Funkadactyls taking on AJ and the Bella Twins. And then you go to a contract signing. This contract signing was supposed to be for the match with CM Punk and Jericho at Payback. Now this is the next time we'll be seeing Punk is Payback. I doubt we'll be seeing him next week. I doubt we'll be seeing him. Yeah, I doubt we'll be seeing him next week. Payback is the 16th. Today's the 3rd. Next week's the 10th. So the 16th will be that Sunday. Will be 2 Sundays away. Heyman signs the contract, and Heyman tells Jericho what's going to happen at Payback in Chicago, which just happens to be Punk's hometown. This was done on purpose. This was done for Punk's return to WWE in his hometown. That's why they wanted to have it at Payback. And who better than to have a return match in your hometown with the first ever undisputed champion, Chris Jericho, a guy who can still get it done. They need to give him more belts now, though. And at one point, Heyman says, "You're wanting to face CM Punk in Chicago, which is his hometown." And Jericho's like, "Oh wait, you're right. That is his hometown. Well, why don't we do it at SummerSlam?" Heyman says no. Why don't we do it at Madison Square Garden? Heyman says no. Why don't we do it right here in Hartford, Connecticut? Heyman says no. It was a joke. He's basically giving this joke that he doesn't care where it happens. If it's in CM Punk's hometown of Chicago, he'd much rather have it there. That's what that whole part right there was about. And of course, you're gonna have SummerSlam in Los Angeles. That's one pay-per-view that you need to switch the locations for. It's kind of like having WrestleMania in the same location every year. You don't do that. But apparently for SummerSlam, you do. Jericho actually told Heyman to stand up after he signed the contract. He says, "Stand up. And I'm going to show you where to file this contract," because they were going back and forth, and Heyman says, "We can file with my lawyers, we can file with your lawyers, or we can file it just a few down." Well, actually, Jericho said this. He said, "We can file with my lawyers, we can file with your lawyers, or we can file it just down 2 hours, like 2 hours away in Stamford, Connecticut." And the crowd went nuts because they were in Hartford, Connecticut. And Jericho says, "You know what? But I got a better idea." So he tells Heyman to stand up, and Heyman stands up. He says, "Now unbutton your jacket." And Heyman's all confused. He's like, "Why?" He unbuttons his jacket because Jericho said, "If you don't unbutton it, I'll rip it off of you." So he unbuttons his jacket, and all of a sudden Jericho takes it. It's already kind of rolled up, and he shoves it down Heyman's pants and says, "I'll see you in Chicago," and walks off. After that, you had your 6 Diva tag match. Now, if you remember, during another 6 Diva tag match, they had the Bellas and AJ versus Caitlyn, and I think probably the Funkadactyls again. The Bellas, or AJ was the legal person at the time, and the Bellas just kind of refused to tag, and they bounced off the apron and walked off. Well, one of the Bellas was legal, and AJ reverses the role. But one of the Bellas got knocked off the apron after Caitlyn took another one and threw her to one of the Bellas. And that Bella was trying to get a tag to AJ. AJ gets off the apron and walks off. She kind of skipped off, but what are you gonna do? And as the Bella, I'm not sure which one it was, because now they don't show the tattoo anymore, it seems. As the Bella was wondering, "What are you doing, AJ?" she turns around and gets speared by Caitlyn. This match was okay. I mean, these DVD matches aren't really that long. Next thing you see is Bryan, and he's warming up for his match against Ryback, and Kane comes out and says, you know what? He tries to do his showing respect to Daniel Bryan to make him not do this match with Ryback. He says, of all people in the WWE for as long as I've been here, and Kane's been there for longer than anyone else has now, besides Triple H. But Triple H is apparently done now, so Kane would be next. He says, out of everyone in this business for as long as I've been here, I've never seen anyone with more heart than you. You come here every week, you wrestle your heart out, and you still get the job done. It might not be a victory to get the job done, but you still get the job done. You still accomplish what you want to achieve. But like I said, not necessarily a victory. And it was a heartfelt respect shown to Daniel Bryan. It was great. It was good. And Daniel Bryan starts thinking, he's like, you know what? I'm still doing this match. I don't care what you say. I don't need you. You know what? You stay back here. And Kane says, I'll do you one better. I'm out of here. And he walks out, basically. Then you had your Daniel Bryan versus Ryback match. And Ryback enters via the ambulance again. Now, that when he enters in the ambulance, you hear the sirens, okay, and you think Scott Steiner's ring intro or theme song, because it goes woo, and every time I hear it, I say holler if you hear me, which is what Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner did. That's what it sounded like. I always think that, but it's that stupid ambulance coming out. He's playing mind games with John Cena. That's all it is. Now, I'm saying Cena wins this. I'm saying Cena wins this three-stage hell match. He wins the lumberjack match, which means that they have to go to a table match. You have to go to at least 2 falls. The table match will be won by Ryback, and then they will do the ambulance match, which will somehow be won by John Cena. I told you how I think that they would win it. Now, like they said, there were 3 other 3 stages of hell match. And all 3 of them had Triple H in it. Triple H has lost 2 of them. One to Shawn Michaels in Armageddon of 2002, I think, maybe 2003. And he beat Stone Cold in one, which that one only went to 2 falls, because Stone Cold got his butt kicked in that one. And then he lost to Randy Orton, which the Randy Orton one was let's see here, it was a straight up wrestling match, it was a street fight, and then it was a stretcher match. Well, the Shawn Michaels Triple H one happened to be a street fight, a steel cage, and a ladder match. The Stone Cold one, I know it was a street fight. I want to say it was a steel cage match, and I'm not sure what the third one was, but because they never went to the 3rd fall. But all of them have been pretty good, actually. This one is going to be interesting because it's a lumberjack tables match and then an ambulance match. So, but like I said, Ryback enters via the ambulance. He doesn't go always the ring with the ambulance. He just kind of enters from where he enters, and he grabs. This is actually the end of the match. This match was very good. This is probably the best singles match I've seen since Cena versus Punk for the #1 contendership for the WWE title for WrestleMania. That was as good as this match, I'm going to say. For the Cena Punk match, that was, if not there, just at it, or just one below it. It was that good. But at the end of the match, Ryback remembers, hey, there's tables under this ring. He goes and he grabs a table, he sets it up, and puts Daniel Bryan through it. Now, Daniel Bryan won this because Ryback got DQ'd for putting him through the table. Well, here's what he does. He puts him through the table, and he thinks, I could destroy Daniel Bryan's career like that, like I did Kofi Kingston. Now, Kofi Kingston will be out for a couple weeks, probably like 4 to 6 weeks, if that. And as he's going for the second table, he pulls it out, kind of sets it up, and Cena hits the ring and saves Daniel Bryan, which then leads to the main event. You didn't really see the John Cena entrance. He just ran to the ring. Curtis Axel then goes to the ring for the no DQ main event. Now, the problem I have with this, the problem I had with this actually, was this is a no DQ match, okay? Since when are there countouts in a no disqualification match? When? I've never even heard of a count-out victory in a no disqualification match. It's stupid. It's uncalled for to have countouts or anything, or rope breaks in a no DQ match. I mean, I know it's just a normal match, just with the no DQ stipulation slapped on it. But okay, the rope breaks I can understand, but not the countouts. Not that. No. Go play WWE 13. Do a no DQ match. I'm pretty sure that you won't be getting countouts. I'm pretty sure you gotta bring the guy back in the ring and pin him that way. Now, this match was won by Curtis Axel because the table that Ryback set up for Daniel Bryan, well, Ryback comes back out and he basically picks up Cena and runs him through the table, and then Axel got a count-out victory. That's where I'm confused about this whole count-out victory in a no DQ match. I think they messed up. I think the ref wasn't told something about this match. I mean, some of these matches were pretty brutal. Like when Curtis Axel did his freaking finisher to John, this little swinging neckbreaker finisher. He did that to John Cena on a chair that was laying in the ring. Now that looked brutal. The crowd even made this sound like it was brutal, and it sounded brutal. It looked brutal. But all that aside, I'm not in a good mood. I would do a video on why I'm not in a good mood, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to risk it. So I'm the YouTube champion. I will see you guys. Well, maybe not. Let me think. I might see you guys for SmackDown Rebound. I think I need to play some Call of Duty and shoot some people because I'm pissed right now. I'll explain later, guys. Thank you.